Spooky Lou coming at you with the crew. Oh my goodness. What do we got before us, ladies and gentlemen? We have the head of the Jeff Paul World Order, Jeff Paul himself. How you doing, my man?
Good, man. Appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you taking time out of your very busy schedule to come on WrestleRoni. How we feeling today, my man?
Sore, man. Sore. Got to do it again Saturday, so trying to rest up a little bit.
Well, what's going on with you? Why are you sore? You take a few lickings this past weekend?
Yeah, I actually worked Kerry Morton for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship, so that was fun.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Big Kerry Morton fan. Always, everybody loves the Mortons. How'd that go?
Went. I didn't win the title, man, but it was fun. He
Well,
didn't win either, so
oh, okay.
some will say we cheated. I think we used the ultimate opportunity.
Okay. How'd that work out?
Some reason, man, this finisher. I was about to kick out, and my partner pulled the referee out, so we got disqualified. So
Oh, prissy referee. Those
yeah,
referees are prima
either
donnas.
guy won a belt, so it is what it is.
Sounds like they're trying to hold you down. Is that one of the reasons you started this world order? Go into that for me a little bit.
The JPWO, man, it's pretty much we kind of got sick of the establishment. If you look at the members we have, I mean, just about every single one of us have some sort of championship goal, and we still don't feel appreciated. We got pretty much tired of these mark promoters pushing us to the side when they bring in the names, and I use that in quotation marks because half the names can't even go 5 minutes anymore, and your top guys get pushed to the side. We got tired of it. We got tired of the disrespectful fans. So we're making a stand. Right now, we're in the process of actually taking over Battleground Wrestling.
Hell yeah. Okay. I like
We
that. Good.
plan
Good.
on it over. We plan on pushing the current owners out. Uh, we raised pure hell the last show. We walked out of there. Two of our members, Paparazzi and Caden Pierre, tag team champions. My boy Sid Myers, he's the Warfare champion. I'm the heavyweight champion. Karma Dean's our women's champion. And we've got our eyes on the only titles we don't have right now in our group is the women's tag team championships. And we've got our eyes on those for February 11th.
Okay, so plenty of gold and you got plans ahead as well.
We want it all.
Good. I just met you. I like you already. Anti-establishment. You're tired of the names instead of the guys busting their ass getting their due. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. What was some of the things you saw happen down the line that made you make this decision to assemble your boys and kind of look out for your own?
Oh, man, I'm trying not to get too bad on here. Man, I've been doing this for about 4.5 years. And the old saying is never meet your heroes, and that couldn't be more true in professional wrestling. I've been fortunate enough to sit under the learning tree of some really great people. Chase Stevens, awesome. I always pick the brain of Damian Wayne anytime I'm around him. Henry Godwin's another great one. And I've been around some real pieces of crap, man, that I just feel like they're doing it for a payday. They could really give a shit less about the younger guys. They could give a crap less about helping the younger guys. They're walking around. They're getting paid more than any of us that's going to go out there and work for 10 to 20 minutes. They're making triple what we're making. And half of them so messed up they can't even walk straight. So it's been building over time, man. And so nobody misquotes me either. I always take advice from the veterans that are worthy of giving the advice. So if people's been doing this for decades, has made a career out of this, has made a living doing this, I will gladly take any criticism. I actually look for it. But then you've got the ones, like I said, they come in and they're so messed up they can barely walk straight. What are they going to tell me or what are they going to tell the JPWO, how to drink a Four Loko in the parking lot? You know what I mean? How to snort something up their nose. We're not interested in it.
The wrestling game's what you're interested in and what you can get out and what you can provide to wrestling as well, I assume.
Man, it's crazy too, man, because like 4.5 years ago, I would hate who I am now. You know what I mean? I would call myself like a bitter old man, probably. But I mean, I've sit around for 4.5 years, and that doesn't seem like a long time, but in wrestling years, that's a very long time considering, you're on the road 2 or 3 days out of the week. There's some shows I'll work 3 times in one night. Especially like if we do like camp shows or different things like that, or if you're doing a double shot. So I just sit around and, the stuff people used to really complain about that I didn't want to hear, I'm kind of agreeing with now.
Well, you're living it, and like you said, yeah, 4 years as a professional wrestler. Number one, you should take pride in that. Not everybody can do it for 4 years, and it doesn't sound like you're cutting corners either. So be proud of who you
But,
are.
I mean, man, everybody will have their opinions. Thing is, my first year, I drove in a car to South Dakota to work in a circus tent, for like $50. You know what I mean? But I just wanted the experience.
Hell yeah.
Um, Yeah, I've been anywhere from the main event to jerking the curtain, and I've always still tried to always give it my all and leave the fans wanting more. Uh, One of the guys that trained me, Cuban Assassin, he told me something that I'll never forget. He said, if you ever want to know how your match went, listen to the fans at the end of the match.
Mm-hmm.
If they're still if they're still into it, you did your job.
Aha. There you go.
I've always tried to stick by that.
Well, okay, so we're talking about the fans. Where are the rowdiest? Who's the best fans to work in front of?
Man, I've been spit on. I've had drinks thrown in my face. Just a couple weeks ago at ASW, a fan tried to hit me with a chair.
Mm.
Uh, really, anywhere in West Virginia, man, but it's not even a West Virginia thing. They get really rowdy down. I work at Mount Airy a lot at AIWF. They get really rowdy down in that area. Bristol, Tennessee is another area they get pretty rowdy. Pretty much, dude, anywhere. I hate to bring politics into it, but any of your Trump-loving Republican areas, they tend to get a little rowdy. So, probably the Bradshaw's. I worked a show down there, and we had the Progressive Liberal on there, and they were trying to like burn his tights and everything, like coming up lighters while he was on the apron. Probably the craziest place I've personally worked, and like I said, it's hard to narrow down, would be War, West Virginia.
Okay.
And the name suits the place because it looks like a bomb went off. Uh, they're just, they're rowdy. It's one of those places you don't want to really, you got to sit in the locker room, make sure it's safe to go to your car. But yeah, I mean, that's good to see, especially after the pandemic and everything, that people are getting back out and being able to go to these events, and it's picking right back up. In a weird way, man, I think the pandemic actually helped professional wrestling.
Yep. Yep.
Because people had to lose it to really appreciate it.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. And that's a very good point. We talk about the pandemic a lot on this show and about the changes for good or for bad they made on the wrestling business, and that's a very good point. Like you said, people are coming out. It kind of sounds like things are going back to the territory days when you got crazy people, Sounds like you're working in front of.
Something we didn't have, something they didn't have back then now that you do have is social media.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of really, it used to be you could work them at the show as far as working them on social media. And really build your brand outside of the show.
Exactly.
So instead of seeing you once a month, they can see you, you have a chance to post your promos, you have a chance to post your graphics. It's a great tool to have.
For sure. And back then, you had to be in that TV market to watch World Class or whatever it may be. Now I can watch whatever's going on and Kansas City or whatever. So, it reaches a broader audience as well. But especially Facebook, reaching that local audience, getting them out to shows, social media, and the internet has been a key factor in the indie scene. We were just talking about that on a prior episode. So I say it all the time. From my point of view as a fan, I don't think wrestling's ever been better and more accessible to a fan. So
Well, it's great, and I'm glad you said that. I have an 8-year-old daughter, man, and it's nice that I can actually like. I would not have wanted my daughter having to watch, during the Attitude Era and thinking that's what women's wrestling is like.
mm-hmm.
Now we got the women that can go out there and really outdo the men most of the time,
Yep.
and it's, it's showing like the thing I hate the most, and it still gets said by like older promoters and stuff. Sex sells. Like I hate that, man, just because like I don't want to have like if my daughter ever wants to get into this when she gets older. I hope she doesn't, but if she ever does, like, hey, Dad, I want to get into this. I want her to know that she doesn't have to. She can be herself and learn how to actually do the wrestling part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And get bookings. Like, you don't have to, we should treat the women the same as the men as far as equal opportunity. And you're doing that now. You're seeing that now. But it was not like that, in the early 2000s, 90s, all the way back. It was not like that.
For sure. For sure. It took, to be honest, as a fan, it took a while to get used to as a fan because it had always been presented in 3-minute matches or sex matches, basically.
I mean, I tell people, when I was growing up, it was what? Kelly's expose.
Yep.
Edge's live sex celebration. And now you're seeing, I'm a big Charlotte Flair guy. Like, I know it's an unpopular opinion or whatever.
Nah, I'm down with you.
Like, when Charlotte Flair first come in, dude, she hadn't had none of the surgery or none of plastic surgery. She looked like a wrestler,
Mm-hmm.
like she came in, she didn't have to meet that stereotype, but she could get in there and go with anybody on the roster.
Yep.
And that's what I really enjoyed. And like I said, that's what I hope, when it continues to evolve. That way, if my daughter ever does want to give it a shot, or, even just watch it from a fan's perspective, she'd be like, hey, these girls are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing better than the men, and that's how it should be, man. But you see, like I said, there's still going to be grimy people everywhere and grimy promoters that will try to sexualize the women talent, and I don't to each is their own. But like at my promotion, I take pride in knowing that all my female talent is taken care of. They provide a safe environment, and they can go out there and kill it with their talent.
For sure. For sure. We recently just had Nurse Micah on the show. Quite the inspiration. I have 3 girls myself, so I definitely understand where you're coming from. You got folks like Ruthless Lala, but that's kind of another end of the spectrum.
Yep.
Just no bullshit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of awesome women.
Scarlett, I believe she does a lot at Real Shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Scarlett's a good one. You've got Judy Hendricks, man, Danny Mo. I could just name off the top. I'm a little biased, I guess, because she's my women's champion. But like I was telling you before the show, dude, I feel like probably Nurse Micah will be, 2 to 3 years tops. We'll be watching her on TV somewhere.
Yeah. She has the drive. She has the talent. She knows what she's doing and knows what she wants.
Just all around a good person, too, man. That's the thing. Like, there's not I haven't met a lot of great people, like people, she's the type dude you could be walking by her, and if you drop $10,000 on the floor, she's going to pick it right back up and give it to you. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the type. And there's several of them, man. Talise Starseeker, another great person, just that very nice lady. Colby Max is great. The list goes on and on. But I've been very fortunate, to watch my women's division. A lot of them had their first match at my promotion. And now, they're getting booked at OVW. They're getting booked all these other places, and I'm not taking credit for that. That's all them. But what I'm saying, it's amazing to watch how much they've evolved over time.
For sure, for sure. And go into that for me. I'm sure it's not just the women, but other folks that you've associated with. How does
Oh
that
yeah.
feel to see them blossom into something bigger and better?
Oh, I had Cole Carter for a little bit,
Nice.
and he. I mean, obviously he went to WWE. I think I had him for 2 or 3 shows. He went to WWE. He went to AW. He's killing it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But you could take one look at him back then and say, "Hey, we better use this guy while we can because he's not here for long."
Okay.
Uh, I've had another guy. Don't get a lot of credit. Aaron West. We've probably worked each other. I think a couple weeks ago, made almost 20 times we've wrestled each other, and great locker room leader, great guy. I've had Ron Mathis and Bruce Gray. They're killing it everywhere they go. One of the best tag teams that I've been around. And I've had too, man. I've had people that came fresh off TV and then went back to TV. We've had Ace Austin, Madman Fulton. I've had Hernandez. We're doing a benefit show for the Maestro this Saturday.
Nice.
But that's kind of like where I'm at too. Is I remember the people that's done good by me. There's several times I've had to call the Maestro to come in last minute, and he's done it. And he's come in very cheap,
Okay.
which he did. Now he's battling some serious health issues, so I feel like it's our turn to give back to him. You know what I mean?
Cool. Cool.
So,
Good. Good. Well, go ahead and let the fans know how can they help with that.
well, he has a GoFundMe. His name on Facebook is Rob Kellum. That's Kellum. He has a GoFundMe on there. Also, we'll be having our benefit show for him. 100% of the proceeds. There's no admission. We just ask for a donation towards his medical fund. It'll be this Saturday night, Bluefield, West Virginia, at the Green Valley Skating Rink. It is a 9 p.m. bell time because we're having skating prior to the show, which is from 6 to 9.
Oh, okay. I see. I got you. Good. So cover a couple demos there and get what you can for the Maestro. I like that. I definitely like that. You had mentioned Aaron West. I know you worked him in Real Shoot Wrestling. Looks like you're coming back to Real Shoot Wrestling. This time, Paulie Kilpis. Are you familiar with Paulie Kilpis?
Yeah, man, I'm not thrilled about that, but I swear sometimes Tim Cross hates me, man.
Why are we not thrilled about facing Paulie Kilpis?
Dude, he's just me and him's the opposite of people, man. He looks like he stinks, bro. You know what I mean? Oh, I know that first lockup's gonna be intense.
Yes, sir. I promise you. I'm
Uh,
looking
I
forward to.
I'll try to end that one quick.
I wish you luck. I wish you luck. I'll be there live in person. I can't wait for this. Stout clashes make fights, right?
Oh yeah, and like I said, man, the thing about me is, you never know what I'm gonna pull out of my sleeve.
Okay, all right. Well, like I say, and Paulie, he's on his own nowadays. He don't have a tag team partner watching his back anymore. I'm not telling you to bring some of your crew so you can outnumber him.
I wouldn't want to ride in the car to towns with him either.
That's one to look forward to. Krampus Mania 2. I'm looking forward to that one. Two big boys locking it up, and I'll just say, may the best man win.
I will, and I appreciate it.
All right, I like the attitude. I do. Well, going into that, what was some of who inspired you growing up? Who made you want to get into wrestling?
Well, my dad was a huge Ric Flair guy. I don't know if you can. It's not very well lit because of glare, but I have a little. My dad actually passed in January 2020, and I inherited his collection, and I've just kind of added to it over the years. Um, but Ric Flair was the man. My dad would always tell me stories. Just he's the one of the first I think that actually lived his gimmick, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Some may say it's not cool, but he became he doesn't know who he is. He actually became Ric Flair. Like,
Yeah.
you call him by his birth name, he's probably not even going to be able to, you could holler his birth name out, and he probably won't even stop and look at you.
Yeah.
He's Ric Flair. For me, it was John Cena, and I know like a lot of people, you get the people Cena can't work or whatever. You got to think when I was growing up, it was, you know, Cena and Edge, Cena and Mark Henry. Cena was always feuding with somebody, and of course, he was always, you couldn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think what really he did something for me, man, and I tell this story. Uh, okay, so like I don't tell this story a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I grew up poor as hell, man. My mom had me when she was 18, but she saved up enough money to take me to a house show in Bristol. And dude, we had nosebleed seats, but I thought it was great. I mean, I'm at WWE, man. So we go outside, dude, and it's snowing, and all these people's walking past me. And Cena's walking by, and I had a CD case, man. I was like, "Would you please sign this, And he had me hand it through the fence, and he signed it. And I remember I said, "You're going to beat Edge at the Royal Rumble," because I'm a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You're damn straight I am." And that was the coolest thing to me, man. Like that, I showed that to everybody, and to this day, that's one of my most prized possessions because I think that's where it really started. You know what I mean? Like, like, dude, I want to do that when I get older. Like, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And too, man, I played football like from the time I was like 7 years old to about 24. You know what I mean? So I had a pretty good football career. Won a state championship in high school. Went to college for a year. Then went and played amateur league in Ohio for a couple years. It's just like one of those things, man. I was driving down the road one day and a school had just opened up. And it didn't stay open long, but I was able to make the connections, to get me through. And, I was able to go on the road with the Cuban Assassin, work with him. And I was able to get in with guys like, Eric Darkstorm and just guys that's really got like, Eric Darkstorm took a chance on me when he was booking Mega Pro Wrestling.
Okay.
Um, he gave me, some good opportunities right there in Marmette that other people wouldn't have. And I will always say that really helped me because Marmette was the first place I was like, you know what? I want to be healed tonight. And it just kind of took off from there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll always credit Eric Darkstorm, for kind of planting the seed.
I like it. I like it, and I'm 100% behind John Cena sparking the fire that lit. I mean,
Yeah, these people will say, he can't work or whatever. I
nah,
don't understand where they get that
yeah,
because the man has worked everybody there is to work.
yeah,
He was the top guy for over a decade. That's very hard to do.
yeah,
Usually your run is 2 to 3 years max as the top guy.
yeah, exactly. So,
And he can come back right now. That's what people understand. He could come back right now. We've not seen him since whenever he did the program with Reigns or whatever.
mm-hmm,
The one and done. But he could come back right now and still be that top guy. And that says something about him. You know what I mean? Like,
for sure. And another name you mentioned right now, Eric Darkstorm, is highly underrated still. He's getting his due, but still.
Eric Darkstorm, the reason Eric Darkstorm's not on TV right now, and I'll argue with this anybody, is because he didn't kiss the right ass or the right amount of ass.
Okay.
He's a very prideful person. He doesn't let people push him over. And, sadly in this business, sometimes you have to, be that guy that, like, I don't want to say pushover, but some promotions, will test you. You're either going to bow down to me or you're out the door.
Right.
So it just comes to you. Do you value your pride or your career more? You know what I mean?
I get it. I get it, and especially with wrestling, it's something that I'm learning. There is a pecking order. There are dues to be paid. There is a certain amount of respect that you are to give those that came before you. And usually on this show, we hear a lot of cotton candy and rainbow tales about locker rooms, about how great they are. And I appreciate that you've shown a light on the other side. Things aren't all cotton and rainbows all the time.
The thing is, man, there's stuff that happens that you keep in there. Yeah, I mean, what happens in the locker room stays in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, if anybody tells you they like every single one of their coworkers, they're full of shit. Yeah, I mean, like, now you stay professional. You know, I've wrestled people that I literally hate outside the ring, and we've had great matches because that's our job. You know what I mean? We're professionals. We go in there, we do it. You won't see me out to eat with them after the show. You won't see me talking to them. I'll go in, I'll shake their hand, we'll have a banger match, and then we may see each other down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm totally against, man, like, if you have any grievances or heat or whatever, you don't air them out in the locker room because you can cost the promoter a booking. You know what I mean? And that's why I always tell guys, man, you know, if they're having issues with somebody, there's 50 parking lots down the road. Take them down there after the show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to do that because there's not an audience there to see it.
Right, I
So,
gotcha.
you know, if you really want to beat the hell out of somebody, go to a parking lot where nobody's at and beat the hell out of one another. But they can't do that, man, because in 2022, you've got to have an audience to entertain, or it's got to be on Facebook.
I see. Yep, I see where you're going. And like I say, I appreciate you shining a light on that side of things because that is the way it is. And like
And
you,
oh man, like I said, I mean, there's people that I've met in this business that I would take a bullet for. You know what I mean? Like,
mm,
no hesitation. There's people that, you know, I mean, there's somebody in the business that's godfather to my son. You know what I mean? So, like, there is great people in this business, but anybody that tells you they like every single person they're around, that's just, I mean, it's BS, dude. But it goes back to people so scared to, you know, stand up for themselves or speak their mind because then you got to worry about getting blackballed and everything else. And that's not the way it should be, man.
yep. Episode 1 of this show was about controversy, and I said in that episode, it's not just the wrestling business, it's Hollywood, it's music, it's everywhere. It's not just wrestling. This is just human nature. This is the way things are.
Dude, I used to call it the 13th grade
Okay.
because really sometimes it's like high school drama. So I just said it's the 13th grade. You know what I mean?
Makes. Yep.
It's, and like I said, I will say, man, a lot of it is, and dude, I've gotten soft with age. You know, I mean, I used to be a little hothead that wanted to fight and stuff, and you know, and that cost me a lot early in my career, man. When I was a year in, you know, you think you know everything, you think you got to fight everybody that you have a disagreement with. That's a quick way to get shown the door. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, though, I was able to ground myself, and you know, like I said, start actually opening my ears and keep my mouth closed. But I mean, there's always two sides to the story, man. There's the truth. And, you know, example, me and Tim Cross 2 years ago hated one another.
Mm-hmm.
And we spoken to each other. That's crazy. You know, like that's legit crazy to me. And now he's probably one of my top 5 friends in the business.
It's so funny. It's so funny that you say that because episode 1 that I'm talking about was about Tim Cross. And before I go into it, I want to tell folks, the keyboard warriors, the fans on the internet, you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. And now I'm working with Tim Cross, and again, I'm like you, maybe even more than you. Who knows? He's family to me. This guy's given me opportunities. I've heard his side of the story, why things were the way they were. I couldn't ask for a better person in my life. This dude literally changed my life.
Yeah, man.
So
And
you have to take a step back and wonder what that person's going through, why they're saying these things.
dude, I'm to the point now where like I told I've told like I did this thing, man, this year especially. Like I just had a kid, man. I've got an 8-year-old and a new, well, 3-month-old now. And dude, I don't have time to have heat with nobody. So I've told everybody, man, if you have an issue with me, it's one sided. You know, because I want to get along with everybody, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to do business with everybody. I want to get along with everybody. You know, now if you do something to piss me off, I want to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm come directly to you and say, "Hey, man, this is why I'm pissed off," and then you can tell me why you're pissed off, and hopefully we can meet in the middle or duke it out or whatever. But
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be this big scene made, you know what I mean, and getting everybody else involved. But
Exactly.
like 2022, everybody needs an audience.
Mm-hmm. Going back to that, and you're exactly right. And it's not just the fans; it's certain workers, it's certain promoters. It's got to throw it out there for everybody. Now we're bringing everybody down. Now we're bringing an entire business down with us, and there's
I
just
mean,
no room for it.
it's getting, I mean, and usually, man, honestly, and people are saying when you run a promotion, man, it's a lot of shit to deal with. Like, it's not, it's not like you show up and boom, you put on a show. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you've got to book people. Okay, you're always, it never fails. Somebody's going to cancel the day of the show, so you've got to have somebody on standby.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to do a budget. You've got to set the ring up. You've got to set the lights, the sound, the chairs, the concessions. Like, you got to have somebody that you can trust to sell your tickets. You've got to have security at the door, making sure people don't sneak in. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, dude, it's so much stuff. You know what I mean? And people seem to think you just show up. And I mean, dude, if a show ends at 9 o'clock, I'm not leaving the venue till probably 11:30, and that's a good night.
Right.
Um, and then there's a lot of nights I get off at 11:30, man, and you gotta be up the next morning to do it again. Get on the road, or you know, my kid's not knowing that dad didn't get home till 12:30. He's gonna be up at 3 or 4 regardless. So, like I said, man, the extra stuff now I don't have time for. That's why I tell people, a lot of them, man, it's just they're the same way I was when I was that age or first getting in.
Mm-hmm.
You think you've got to get involved in stuff that don't concern you, or you think you've got to be a badass or attempt to be a badass and make your name. And dude, it's not. Like I said, at the end of the day, man, just keep your mouth closed and your ears open, and it's such a wonderful thing if you do that.
Yeah. And I'll be the first to say, in my brief little swim in this little in the business, I so far so good. I've not nothing but wonderful, good-hearted, grade A human beings, not only on the show but in locker rooms, at shows, whatever. So far, no complaints from Spooky Lou. There are a lot of good folks in this business. That's why I was kind of squeezing you for what I could about the
And a
negative
lot,
because
dude, man, you
hmm,
gotta think, dude. Like, so if me, you, and another guy is working a triple threat, I've been trained at one place that taught one style. The other guy's been trained at one place that taught a style, and the other guy's been taught another style.
hmm,
And we're together, man. Like, there's going to be, you have to, what I'm saying? There's going to be, differences of opinions.
hmm,
And that's nothing wrong with that. But the thing, what people need to understand, man, is everybody works a different style. Some people like to chain. Some people like to spot it up. Some people like to work stronghold. You know what I mean? There's so many different ways in this business. My goal is, I was telling somebody this other day, I'm like, dude, I want to be able to get in there. Like, I hate chain. I can do it, but I
hmm.
hate it. I want to get in there with a guy that does nothing but chain and have a hell of a match. You know what I mean? That's like my goals. I want to get, I don't want to work the same people that I'm comfortable working. I want to step out of my comfort zone. And it's a
Hmm.
great feeling when you can go to a show and meet a guy in 10 minutes and have a hell of a match. That's something I really enjoy. And that's why I've tried to kind of teach myself these different styles and, be open to suggestions, be open to advice. Because at the end of the day, dude, if WWE or AEW calls you, they're going to tell you what they need you to do, and you better be able to do it.
Yep.
You know, um, you know what I mean? If you can't do it, they're going to call somebody that can.
Yep. Yep. I was just talking about that on a prior episode. There is a big sea with a lot of very talented fishes right now.
Dude, it's next man up,
Uh,
next man, next man up. You know what I mean? And that's why I've worked through a lot of injuries over the years, man. Because I just don't want to, you don't ever want to take that time off because you work so hard to get, it's hard work to get the push, but it's very easy to lose it.
I can imagine. I can imagine. We've seen it happen. But going back to what you're saying, those different styles is what makes pro wrestling magic. It's what makes it unlike any other form of entertainment or sport on earth when you guys get together and can make those
Yeah,
different styles work.
and I don't really watch, and I'm not trying to sound like, I know you'll hear a lot of guys on the indies. I don't watch this shit on TV or whatever. That's not my case, dude. I just never have time. But I do like to see stuff pop up on my Facebook. I mean, Ricochet just worked Braun Strowman the other night, dude. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Guys have nothing in common, no style in common, and they still put on an entertaining match. That's what you got to be able to do.
Yeah, and back to dickheads in the business. Ricochet worked with dickhead Braun Strowman, pulled out a great match, and pulled out the win. So
And
it
I mean,
worked.
dude, and that's another thing. All these. That's why I tell people you've always got to be ready, man. Braun Strowman, he thought his career was done pretty much. I mean, he was doing the control your narrative,
Mm-hmm.
brought him back, dude. That's how quick stuff can change, and that's why I tell people, like, example, I was supposed to work Dexter Loomis, man,
Mm.
and again, this is why I tell you Tim Cross is cursed. I worked his show up at the fair this past year.
Mm-hmm.
We was on our way back, man, and I stopped at Sheets, and I came out, and Huff Manley's like, "Dude, Dexter Loomis just appeared on Raw," and this was a week before we were supposed to work each other.
Oh,
Well, dude, I just waited for a couple of days. I knew I was going to get the call, and then the prayer call was like, "Hey, he pulled, or WWE won't let him do it. He's pulling out of the show." So, but dude, instead of going and sitting around pouting about it, I went out there and worked Tough Manly, and we had a hell of a match.
hell
So,
yeah.
actually got slapped by his grandma at the end of the match. So it's just one of those things, man. Like, the time will come, man. If you just keep doing what you're doing, eventually your number will be called.
For sure. For sure. There's a lot of opportunities out there. AEW Dark's always bringing people in. I mean, shoot, GCW, in my eyes, you've made it as a fan. There's a wealth of opportunities to be had.
Well, that's like, I mean, dude, Nick Gage, you know, who's strictly death match, just him and George South just had a match at WrestleCade, man.
Mm-hmm.
Two guys, George South's always prided himself on, he's an old school technical wrestler, great guy, great heel. I love his work. But who would have ever thought that in 2022 we'd see George South versus Nick Gage?
There you go.
Yeah. But we saw it, and it sold a shit ton of tickets.
For
And
sure.
that's what you have to do, man. Like, you can't really, I mean, there's a reason why. What I try to do, the formula I use, man, is I try to have a little bit of everything. You know what I mean? Have a little bit of comedy on my show, a little bit of, good, just clean technical wrestling. I like to have, some dirty shit going on, dirty heat. I like to have a women's match. I like to have a tag team match. I try to have a little bit of everything. Um, give the fans a little sample of everything.
Makes perfect sense. Yep, and that's the proven formula. I mean, you're gonna have different fans for different styles. You might want to have a fan that wants to see a death match, or you have a fan that's there for a cruiserweight match, whatever it may be. And if you guys are willing to do it, the fans are willing to eat it up, man.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I've had to do some crazy stuff. I mean, I'll have to send you the clip, but this was about a month ago, a little over a month ago. Nick Gage actually posted it on his Instagram page, but I did a spot off the balcony at the rec center through two tables. It was about a 20-foot drop.
Oh wow.
So that was new territory for me. But I've always early on, man, I did a lot of like gimmick matches. I won't say death match, but I did a lot of street fights, hardcore matches, ladder matches, stuff like that, tables matches.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy them, from time to time. I mean, I'm about to be 29, so I don't have tons left. You know what I mean? Like, I can't do them 3 and 4 times a year. I usually save one big bump. That table spot was my big bump for the year. But I always try to do something that's not been seen before, man.
Good, good, and that's the challenge nowadays. It can be done with the right minds and the right talent, but that has to be a challenge for you guys nowadays. Fans have seen it all. So what do you do?
A lot of it, man, is just, and I tell people too, like, just sit at the monitor and watch the matches, you know, before yours.
Okay.
Nothing pisses me off worse, man, than if, two matches in a row do the exact same finish. You know
Right.
what I mean? Why?
Yeah. On
You
national
just,
television.
yeah, you just buried each other. Well, even on the indies, you
Yeah.
see it a lot. Like, they'll do the same thing. Like, somebody will do a dirty finish involving the ref, and then the next match, it's a dirty finish involving the ref. Like, switch it up a little bit, man. And one thing I hate too, dude, is like, I can just go on and on, but
What?
there's a lot of shit that sometimes I get mad about now that, like, the vets used to tell me 4.5 years ago that I didn't want to hear. The gear been one of them, man. Like, I hate all the damn blue jeans and, tennis shoes. Look like a damn wrestler, man, if you go out there. Like, separate yourself from the fans.
Mm-hmm. I get it. I do.
And don't get me wrong, dude. Like, Ron Mathis wears blue jean shorts, wrestling boots, knee pads. It's a great look for him. It's a great gimmick for him. It fits him. He makes it work. And I couldn't imagine a guy like Ron Mathis in a singlet or, tights or anything like that.
Right
So,
on.
like, you have those, you know what I mean? Like, you have those guys that can make it work. But if you have a show and 5 guys are wearing blue jeans, well, what the hell, man?
Yeah.
Uh,
Ron
and that's
Mathis is Ron Mathis.
Yeah. I mean, he's earned the right
Uh
to
huh.
do that, but you just got so many guys, and the worst excuse, man, is like, and I get it, dude, because like I said, when I came in, man, I got shit on. Um, I am allowed to cuss on here, right?
Have at it, man. It's
Yeah.
WrestleRoni.
Well, I got shit on by that TJ Phillips for having. I had the boxing trunks, trace knee pads, and boxing or wrestling boots, and he still buried me online over it.
Oh
Which
wow.
fuck that guy, by the way. But anyway, that's that's what I'm saying, man. I got buried for that, and dude, I'm seeing kids wear way worse.
Right.
So, um,
There was
sorry
a.
for dropping the F bomb too. Just tell me if I'm out of line.
You
But
say what the fuck you want on here, and believe me, I understand your frustration. I've heard the frustrations on many wrestlers that were stuck and set in their ways and thought their ways worked, and they didn't work, and now things are better. That
there's
things
a
are working.
thing, dude, where like there's a thing, and I'll try to tell anybody like that'll listen to me. So if I don't like your gear, I will pull you to the side and be like, "Hey, brother, what's your financial situation, man? I may have a pair of tights laying around the house. I could help you out with till you can get something, or hey, I've got some extra knee pads. Don't be a dick, dude, and go online burying these young kids, man, and shitting on them right out of the gate. You know what I mean? That's just going to do nothing but kill their confidence. You don't know what their financial situation is. You don't know, maybe they just lost their shit to a house fire. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Or maybe their loved one just died and they're having to put all their money to bills.
Yeah.
You
Again,
don't know.
you don't know what somebody else is going through, and don't nitpick every little thing because one of these days it's going to come back to bite you in the ass.
I'll say this right now, and I mean, you can know who I'm talking about because I've done said how I feel. It's funny the people that shit on me, like I said, 4.5 years ago, unprovoked. It was totally unprovoked. Now can't get booked in a damn library, and I'm on every flyer in the state.
Well, there you go. There you go.
So, just be careful who you shit on because I saw a meme the other day I really liked. It was like veteran wrestlers that shit on the younger talent, years ago. Now the same veteran wrestler knowing that the talent they shit on is the promoter. You know what I mean?
Uh huh.
Like that happens to me all the time, man. Like, but like I said, dude, I'm not even in a place to hold grudges. You know what I mean? Like, Um, I can honestly say through 4.5 years, dude, there's only probably one person I truly like, truly, and I don't even. I'm not the type of person to use the word hate, dude. But I mean, it's a strong dislike there, and
Mm.
that's it. I mean, and like I said, back to it, dude. You can be standing beside the people 5 feet away from them, and they're quiet as a church mouse. And then
Mhm.
as soon as they get home, they're back on that keyboard. It's the craziest thing to me. But like I say, it's just it's a different time, man.
It
I
is.
always say in the wrong generation.
There you go. But hey, let's bring some positivity to the game. I think you're doing great. As you never change. You know what you're doing. You know where you're at. Sounds like you got a good head on your shoulders. So you
I'm
you stick to what you're doing. You're doing fine.
man. Like I said, dude, my goals in wrestling, man, may be different than anybody else's. I've already achieved some. I mean, to my knowledge, dude, I'm the only person in Mercer County that's ever wrestled for the NWA Junior Heavyweight Championship.
Hell yeah.
Now, I mean, I could be wrong, but like I said, to my knowledge,
Hell yeah.
that was a big deal for me. That dude, I ran a show successfully through the entire pandemic. I had to do drive-in shows, I had to do social distancing shows, but we made it work. And I mean, dude, the thing that like I tell everybody is I like to think that you know people that's working for me now, and it's not just me; they work all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
If I see them pop up on WWE or AEW, dude, that's my success story. Like they made it, dude. What I mean? That's like there will be no jealousy. There will be no like, man, that should have been me. I want anybody that I'm, consider a friend in this business to do great things, make millions, retire early, enjoy your life.
There you go. Good to hear. Good to hear. Good parting words. I appreciate that. Definitely want to get you back on the show soon because I'm sure you got some stories. Sounds like you got some viewpoints. And December 10th, we got you here in Monongah, Polykilpus. I wish you the best of luck. But before that, what's coming your way before that? Anything you want to plug? Social media, merch? The
Yeah,
platform's all yours. Let the folks know where they can find you and give you a few dollars if they like.
uh, we've got the JPWO shirts available. We've got them in black and red, and we've also got them. I just had them made. We've got them black with the pink lettering. I've got those available. They're $20 a shirt. If we don't have your size, we can have them made within 2 days. As far as shows, like I said, I'm in Bluefield December 10th. I'm with you guys. I mean, no, I'm in Bluefield this Saturday. Then I'm with y'all on the 10th. Uh, the 11th, man, it's actually pretty cool. I'll tell this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter will never come to watch me wrestle, man. It terrifies her. Like she won't watch my DVDs of me doing it. She's just scared to death I'll get hurt.
Uh-huh.
Well, yeah, my birthday's the 10th, and I said, for my birthday, why don't we all go to the WWE house show on the 11th? Because I get to hook up on tickets. And I said, will you come? She said, are you wrestling? I said, no. She said, all right, I'll go. So that's a big deal for me. You know what I mean? We're going to go see a live event together on December 11th. So, and then
Awesome.
December 16th, I believe Tim just landed a show in Pennsylvania.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Yeah, so it's going to be a Toys for Tots show. He'll have more details. He just asked if I was available. And I said yes. So I think Nurse Mike will be on it as well. Willie Storm, Yellow Man, several of us from down this way will be on it. And then December 18th at the Retro Reset, PWL will be there doing a meet and greet also with Julia Hart from AEW. That's at the Crossroad Mall in Beckley.
Nice. Heck
So,
yeah.
and then December 31st on New Year's Eve, I'll actually be in Mount Airy for their big show, Seasons Beatings, AIWF Mid Atlantic.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you
So,
what, I can't wait to meet you live and in person. So you do your thing live and in person on the 10th. I'll see you in New Ken as well. So we're gonna have some fun there. I'm glad you broke
Yeah,
that.
man, like I said, December 10th's the birthday, so any of you fans, you'll hate me by the time the show's over, but um, don't follow me out to eat, please. I don't like none of you, and I don't want to be around none of you.
We got you covered in Monongah, buddy. I promise you. It's definitely been a pleasure. It's been another eye-opening interview. I'd keep you longer, but hell, I got people waiting in the Discord for another interview. So don't blame me. You blame the people that hooked this up.
I thought you would have kept the best for last.
Well, they, well, I did. Forget I said anything. You're exactly right. I love the attitude, my man.
But I appreciate it, man. I'll be back anytime you need me.
I will definitely have you back on. You can bet on that sooner than later. I've been Spooky Lou. Live your dreams. Treat each other well. Don't take no shit. Know what you're doing. Know who you are. This man's proof in the pudding. I thank you, Jeff Paul World Order, all day. You've been listening to WrestleRoni. Have a good one.